Today we get a story of a Gen Z kid who thinks that the sky isn't real and that it is a plant by the government, and a lot of stuff that they learned on TikTok because Gen Z kids spend way too much time on TikTok. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy one, so sit back, relax, subscribe if you're new, and let's jump into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Adam. So anyways, right, one day Adam was in class, and there's this kid in class who spent a little bit too much time on TikTok, and we're going to call him the Gen Z kid because unfortunately, a lot of people in our generation, including mine, spend a little bit too much time on TikTok, and they also get all their information from TikTok, which is not a great idea, by the way. So anyways, Adam is just in class, and he's talking about, I don't know, he's literally just talking with his friends, nothing that important, and the Gen Z kid comes up to him and is like, dude, what do you think about the sky? And not Gen Z, sorry. Adam is just kind of looking at this kid with this kind of look of confusion because he's not totally sure how to respond when this kid looks at him and says, what do you think about the sky? It's like, I don't know, that it's blue, it's up. Like, what's the joke here? Because I know a lot of people say, it's always like a part of the joke is like, oh, is the sky like blue or something? And then you say something else, right? So obviously Adam was a little bit confused by this, and he was like, what? And the Gen Z kid's like, so do you think it's, like, real? And Adam's like, yeah. What? And the Gen Z kid's like, whoa, I didn't understand it. I didn't realize that you were a puppet of the Matrix and that you worship the government like that. That's crazy, man. And Adam's like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, you actually believe in the sky? That's ridiculous, bro. And obviously Adam's like, dude, what are you even talking about? And the Gen Z kid's like, well, I was on TikTok yesterday, and I said this really, really convincing video that the sky, in fact, is not real, and only people who have small brains and can barely comprehend the truth believe in it, like you idiot. Adam's like, God, what's that smell? Oh, wait, he looks at the Gen Z kid. He's like, well, okay, man, like, I'm sorry we disagree on the sky, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's real, bro. So you guys might be thinking, well, that's the last interaction between Adam and the Gen Z kid. Well, that is not the case, because they have a presentation due by the end of the week, and you're allowed to make it on basically any topic you want. In this class, it's really a focus on trying to get kids to present, trying to get kids to learn how to present, because just talking in front of a lot of people is a really important skill. And it's, the teacher wanted to make sure that they were proficient in that. So unfortunately, he let them have kind of wide range over what topics they were able to choose. So yeah, let's jump ahead right to the day of the presentation, because this is where it gets all juicy and gets really interesting. So anyways, they're all kind of sitting down, they get into class, and the presentations are kind of slideshow presentations. I mean, you were allowed to do other things if you wanted to, but I think 99%, or basically everyone's presentation was a slideshow presentation. So Adam goes up there, does a presentation on his local government's election. It really could be anything that you were kind of interested in. It was really just to see basically how good you were or to give you practice at presenting in front of people. So Adam sits down, and that's when the Gen Z kid goes up. And Adam has completely forgotten about the whole sky is fake interaction they had 5 days ago. But as the Gen Z kid is walking up, Adam turns to his friend and says, dude, do you remember when that kid came over to us and started yelling at us that we believed in the lizard, that we were being controlled by the government because we thought the sky was real? And his friend's like, yeah, dude. And Adam's like, dude, how much do you want to bet that that's exactly what that kid's going to do a presentation on right now? And yeah, sure enough, he goes up, he says, everybody. So he gets up there, he puts his computer in the thing, right, the projector. He's like, everybody, I need you to pay attention. This is an incredibly important presentation, and if you don't listen to it right now, you might never escape and learn the truth. And everyone in class is kind of just, remember, I don't know if you guys were like this, but during class presentations, bro, I would always be spacing out. I'm sorry, I just don't care about when the Magna Carta was signed or whatever. It's just oh, it happened? Okay, cool. And I don't need to hear some kid give it a really crappy presentation on it. I don't know about you, I just never needed to hear that information. So sure enough, right, the kids in class were kind of taken aback by, you need to listen to this if you want to know the truth. I don't know about you, but that's not the way that I would start my presentations, and I don't think that's the way, anyone else would start their presentations. So, yeah, people were pretty taken aback and were like, oh, shoot, okay, yeah, what's up? And so, the Gen Z kid is like, okay, first, I must have a disclaimer. And he clicks on the first slide on his presentation. And the first slide said disclaimer. It was spelled wrong. It was like disclaimer or something, but people understood what it tried to say. Like, truth is hard to understand. Like, leave now if you're not ready for the truth. And the Gen Z kid is like, if you guys are not prepared for the knowledge that I'm about to deliver, then you can leave. And the teacher like pipes in and says, actually, they can't leave. Yeah, guys, you can't leave. Like, you have to stay. And the Gen Z kid's like, okay, then. Well, then you all better be prepared for the truth I'm about to deliver to you guys. And everyone's like, okay, sure. Like, no one was, like, standing up being like, man, I'm sorry. I can only listen to lies. I have a doctor's note, actually, that says I can only listen to lies. So, yeah, I'm going to have to skip this. Like, no one was doing that, bro. Like, I don't know what the Gen Z kid was really expecting for people to stand up and be like, only lies, man. I can't listen to the truth. That's ridiculous. So the teacher right now is actually kind of, like, everyone in the class, including the teacher, is kind of interested to see what the Gen Z kid's about to say. So the Gen Z kid's like, okay, looks like all of you guys are going to be witnessing my presentation. And he goes to the next slide. And it's like, and the slide literally just says, you are not ready for this, ... And he's like, guys, you are not mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally prepared for the information I'm about to bring to you guys. And the teacher's like, oh, well, I guess in the teacher's head, he was like, okay, I guess this is like a good presentation in the sense that it's very attention grabbing. He's probably going to say, like, the teacher probably would have, like, given feedback after being like, really good intro, but maybe a little too elongated. Because the next slide was literally, mentally prepare yourself, ... You are not ready, ... Skull emoji, ... Like, it was like the most dramatic thing you've ever seen. So some kids in class were starting to, like, laugh a little bit because it almost seemed like trolling. It almost seemed like the Gen Z kid was, like, going really over the top just because he thought it would be funny, which in all fairness, it was a little bit funny. Like, I don't know about you, but the Gen Z kid going that crazy is just a little funny to me too. And I think I would have thought that the whole thing was a joke. However, Adam and his friends knew that this wasn't a joke because they knew exactly what the Gen Z kid was going to talk about. I mean, there's a chance the Gen Z kid had moved on to another thing, like the government's actually run by lizards or the earth is flat or something like that. But they were pretty sure that this was, once again, the sky isn't real and the Gen Z kid was coming for everybody and that no one was prepared. So sure enough, the Gen Z kid's like, you guys may laugh now, but this information will literally change your life. So that's when the Gen Z kid clicks to the next slide. And on the next slide, it says, the sky isn't real. And, like, people actually just start laughing, like, just straight up laughing in class. And I think the Gen Z, I don't know why, but the Gen Z kid was almost shocked that people didn't take him absolutely seriously. I guess he thought with all the slides saying, this is super important, like, you will never have a more important video than this one, and all this kind of, like, melodramatic stuff, right? That he was I guess he was kind of expecting that, like, they would have been like, oh my God, he must be telling the truth right now. But yeah, some kids were laughing, like, the teacher was like, what? I think the teacher thought that this was, like, some kind of, like, I don't know, like a joke, but also trying to make it like a good presentation, because the teacher said you could cover literally whatever you wanted, so maybe this would have been within the boundaries. But, you know, the Gen Z kid was trying not to be phased. He's like, guys, I need you to understand the truth. It is true. The sky is fake. It is invented by the lizards in the government to keep us weak. However, I will help you escape the matrix right now. The sky is not real, and I guys, what the heck, guys? And he looks around, and Adam looks at him just like, what? He's like, guys, what the heck? Where's the pencil? Where's the paper? You're not taking notes? Like, I really suggest you take notes right now. If I were you, I'd be taking a lot of notes. That's all I'm saying, right? Anyways, the sky is not real. Proof number one. And he literally, like, okay, he goes to the next slide, and on screen is just a TikTok video. Like, it's an embedded link to a TikTok video. So he clicks on it and, like, opens up in a new tab, goes on the TikTok mobile or whatever, or a desktop, and, like, opens up, starts playing, and it's like, you know, there's, like, obviously fake conspiracy TikTok videos. First of all, it has the same, like, I think, like, Arthur McLeod, I think that's the musician, but it has that, like, one spooky background music that's overused, like, so much and is literally used in every single, like, quote-unquote spooky video, right? I think you guys know what I mean. So yeah, sure enough, that stuff was playing. It was like, and then it was some person who was like way too close to the camera. It's like, guys, I need to inform you about the truth. This guy is actually not real. Here's some photo evidence, and it like takes a screenshot of, or it's like shows a photo of like a very obviously it's just like a video. This is a photo that's like very crappily done, but it kind of looks like there's like a rip in the sky, but it's obviously photoshopped in and like blurred for like on purpose, right? And almost seems like the account was satire, but it like wasn't presented as satire. Like it was just so bad. And also the video had like 14 likes or something, so it didn't even do well, bro. It didn't even go viral. Yeah, so everyone's kind of just like laughing at this point. They're all kind of just like, they're thinking it's pretty funny. And the Gen Z kid is like, why are you laughing? Real quick, the secret word of the day is laugh. So comment down below laugh in the comment section if you made it this far into the video. And check out the pinned comment, as there's a link to the Spotify page that I upload these stories as podcasts, as well as my 2 other channels I'm posting on daily, so subscribe. Anyways, so the Gen Z kid is like, why are you guys laughing? I am telling you the truth. I need you all to shut up. No, shut up, shut up. I will silence you forcefully if you do not shut up. Okay, so before this, the teacher was like, okay, at least the presentation was pretty like attention grabbing. Like he was giving the Gen Z kids some points for like having at least an attention grabbing presentation. But now this was going way too far, bro. Like this was definitely going way too far, because the kid was like threatening other people to stay silent or whatever. So the teacher's like, can you please not threaten others while doing your presentation? I'm surprised the teacher didn't go in harder or something like that. I feel like the teacher should have really just like, I don't know, been like, okay, you're done, and like brought him down. Because I don't know, if I was a teacher and some kid started threatening other kids to shut up during his presentation about how the sky is fake, I think I would have just cut the presentation right there. But anyways, the teacher's like, hey, like you can't be saying that. And the Gen Z kid turns to the teacher with this look of like fury and rage. He's like, teacher, do you not understand the information that I'm bringing to you guys? I think at that point, the teacher started to realize that this kid was not just trolling. This was not some kind of prank, or this wasn't some kind of like parody presentation. Because if this was like, it seemed like it was such obvious parody, and like the teacher was actually kind of enjoying like the parody of it. But up until like the kid turned to him and was like, do you not understand the valuable information I'm bringing to you guys? I think that's when the teacher started to realize that, oh, wait, this kid's being for real. Like he's actually being serious right now. So the teacher's like, oh, shoot. So the teacher's like, okay. And the kid goes on to the next slide. The next slide is why, question mark. Because we are sheeple, we must stay weak, government needs control. Those are like the 3 points. And the Gen Z kid's like, you guys are the biggest sheeple ever, by the way. For laughing at this presentation, you are the biggest sheeple ever. So yeah, obviously the kids in class were almost laughing more at this point, because they thought half of them were just like, this kid's crazy. The other half were like, this is a pretty funny joke and he's playing a pretty good character. But Adam realized that it was not a joke and not a character, and he was like almost uncomfortable by it, because he's like, what's this kid gonna do? So the Gen Z kid keeps going on with his presentation, but he starts getting angrier and angrier. He's like, guys, you need to start paying attention. And that's when the Gen Z kid does something absolutely insane. So at this point, look, you shouldn't be yelling at people, screaming at them to shut up, right? All that stuff isn't really good. However, I will say that is at least better than physically attacking someone because they don't believe that the sky is fake, like you're telling them that it is. So yeah, the Gen Z kid eventually, because there's this one kid in the front of the class, we're going to call him Bob, right? Bob was like, he wasn't a bully or a jerk, but he definitely had more tendencies like that. Like a lot of people did like him, but he was definitely the kid who would make fun of something if it needed to be made fun of, which in all fairness, I feel like this kind of did need to be made fun of, bro. Like kid actually believes that the sky is not real. So everyone was laughing at this kid, and he was getting really mad. And so this one kid in the front, like I was telling you about, like Bob, right? He was kind of like being the loudest and most obnoxious. And this kid was very upset because he believed that he was actually giving people truth and information that they needed to know. So he sees Bob laughing and not paying attention and talking to people. So the Gen Z kid takes up his notebook, like his paper notebook, whatever, walks up to Bob as he's not paying attention, and bah, smacks him across the front of his face. And it's like, will you pay attention to me now? I am giving you important information about the sky not being real and us being plants by the government. So at this point, right, the teacher was like, okay. The teacher was okay with this kid giving a weird presentation. He was okay with this kid basically telling people to shut up, even though he shouldn't. But obviously, You're crossing the line when you smack someone, basically assaulting them physically. So the teacher's like, oh, okay, gets up, grabs the Gen Z kids, like, okay, well, we're done.